What is going on, fight fans? Oh, hold up. And he ain't turn the motherfucking mic on. Alright. What is going on? Mic check. Alright. What is going on, fight fans? It is your man, Tay, the visionary, and you are now tuned in, yes, to another episode of Black Cold Boxing. Now, as y'all can see, I am not at the house right now. So I'm already gonna let y'all know I'm on a little vacation with the lady. We out here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Shout out to PA. I ain't gonna lie, it's a little dirty out here, but funny, funny thing is, it's still a little bit cleaner than Atlanta when it comes to just the homelessness and stuff like that. But if you into photography, videography, I definitely say this is the state for you because there's so many corners and shit, just so many things you can take pictures of. I'm actually gonna post a couple pictures in this video so y'all can see it. But anyway, because I am on a very short time frame here, I'm very busy tonight. This is not gonna be a long video. It's not gonna be one of them 30-minute videos. I promise you. This probably gonna be no more than 10 minutes, man. But we're gonna jump straight into it. We're going to get into this Canelo versus Charlo breakdown. I got my notes with me. I'm not going to lie. I didn't get enough time to really study this fight the way I wanted to. But I did watch a couple of Charlo fights, and I just wanted to talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses. You already know how I do when I do these breakdowns. So let's get straight into it, man. Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez. Actually, I want to talk about his weaknesses before I talk about his strengths. Let's go with the most obvious one. Some of you guys might not feel like it's a weakness. I personally feel like it is a weakness. Is that Canelo has a lot of wear and tear. He has a lot of wear and tear on his body. Now, I know Charlo and Canelo, they both around the same age, if not the same age, but Canelo just has a lot of wear and tear. If I'm not mistaken, this man has had like 60 plus fights, 65 plus fights on his body. And he's a very flat-footed fighter, which is one of his weaknesses I was going to mention anyway. But he's a very flat-footed fighter, so he's not one of them guys to move around the ring and just show this impeccable ability to not be touched in the ring. He's not one of those guys. Now, don't get me wrong, Canelo has very good head movement, but he does get touched, whether he's getting touched in the arms, on the back, or whatever the case may be, even if when he's defending. So he just has a lot of wear and tear on his body. And then one of the things that I noticed about Canelo is that even when he's using his head movement, Canelo has just become this counter puncher. So he has a habit of leaning over his front foot. Now this is one of the crazy things actually, because his leaning over his front foot is actually a weakness, but it's also one of his strengths because he does it purposely. He leans over that front foot to try and bait his opponent into throwing a punch. He pulls back and he counters, right? He counters, and the counter that he uses, which actually goes into his strength, ties into his strength, is a double left hook. That or a shovel hook, where he'll counter, then he'll throw a left to the body, and then he'll go up top with it. So that's just one. That's probably his biggest punch in this fight. It's just depending on that double left hook. He fights out the high guard sometimes. You know what I mean? He does this little peekaboo thing where he's rocking back and forth right in front of you, and he's like this, and he's just trying to get in real close. Um, you know, Canelo has made it work in all of his fights, but you also got to be careful with that. You know what I say about that high guard. He's definitely open to a stiff Charlo jab. So I think the high guard is probably something he would want to stay away from in his fight. As I said before, Canelo does have slow feet. Man, I'm telling you, that's probably his biggest weakness, that Canelo does have slow feet. And in order for him to land a good body shot, a good shot period on Charlo, he's going to need to be flat-footed. He's going to need to be able to sit down on his punches. And based on some of the things that I've heard from Charlo and his camp in particular, is that they are going to be moving around the ring. They are going to utilize that foot movement. They are intentionally not going to go all the way up to 168, maybe come a little bit under 168 so that Charlo can keep his speed. He needs to have that agility, because as long as he has that agility, Canelo won't be able to sit down on them punches. And they're hoping for him not to be able to sit down on them punches. And I think it's a very smart strategy. So I definitely give that to Charlo and his team for thinking about that. And I think they do good against flat-footed fighters anyway. But just because Canelo can be flat-footed, because he can lean into his counter punches that he looks for, he's able to be pushed off balance. And if you all remember, I actually watched Canelo versus Bivol. When I watched that fight, Canelo was never really able to get off any combinations on Bivol because Bivol was able to keep pushing him back, push him off balance. He leaned in, Bivol push him off balance, right? So I feel like if Charlo does that, it's going to be hard for Canelo to get anything off. So again, Canelo he is banking on being able to slow Charlo down from moving around the ring. As you all can see, he had trouble with Caleb Plant doing the same thing, just moving him around the ring. But eventually that pressure was enough. But outside of that, Canelo just doesn't have a good game if he can't get you to stay still, if he has to follow you around the ring, if you push him off balance. And I think that's just one of his biggest weaknesses, that's just that being flat-footed. But so the thing about, I also want to talk about Canelo's strength. Really just that double left hook in this fight, that head movement. That head movement is going to be A1, I'm already knowing. But Canelo has a very confusing double left hook. When he throws his double left hook, which I think is his bread and butter in my opinion, sometimes he can go straight to the head, then go to the body. Or he can switch it up, go to the body, then go straight to the head. We actually seen him do that against Kovalev. If you all remember the fight in Kovalev got knocked out with a double left hook. And Canelo actually stopped a few fighters with a double left hook. But anyway, as far as Charlo, man, the weaknesses I got for Charlo is that sometimes I've seen him do this. Which fight was it? He did this in the Castaño fight, that he'll throw a jab, he'll stab to the body without changing his levels. Not a good move if you're going up against Canelo Alvarez. You actually might get stunned, knocked out. We ain't never seen Charlo knocked out, but sometimes when Charlo gets a little lazy, he will stab to the body, but he will keep his head at eye level. You cannot do that against Canelo because, again, Canelo is a counter puncher. He wants you to throw the first punch. So if Charlo stabbing to the body, Charlo is there to get hit with a Canelo left hook. He's there to get hit with a uppercut, which is just punches you don't want to take from Canelo. It honestly, I probably see him getting hit with it at least once. It's probably going to look something like Terrence Crawford when he went against Errol Spence, and Errol Spence was leaning over the front foot, and Crawford was just able to catch him with that left hook. I see the same thing happening to Charlo. Canelo's going to catch him with that left hook, and it may be because Charlo is just being a little lazy and just kind of, lacking in the fundamentals just a little bit. And I'm not saying that Charlo doesn't change levels at all. I have seen some inconsistency in a good way, where sometimes when he went against Tony Harrison, where he would change levels whenever he throw that jab. So he doesn't do it often, but that is just one of his weaknesses that I noticed. Sometimes he forgets to change level when throwing shots to the body. Another weakness for Charlo is that sometimes he could be squared and he could be in a high guard on the ropes. And so this is the crazy thing. When I was actually breaking down this Charlo and breaking down this Canelo fight, the crazy thing is that they actually have the same strengths and the same weaknesses. So Charlo can be a little square sometimes when he is on the ropes, which is where Canelo wants him, on the ropes. Charlo gets in that high guard. He doesn't need to get in that high guard. He doesn't need to take big shots from Canelo. But what I see Charlo doing is basically the same thing he did in the Brian Castaño 2 fight. It's just constantly moving around that ring, but also trying to hurt Canelo as well. Because if you're not hurting Canelo with those punches, it's not going to do much. You're not going to put any fear in his heart, and he's just going to keep coming forward. You got to keep backing Canelo up. You got to keep pushing him off balance like Bivol did. That's what Charlo needs to do to win this fight. Yeah, Charlo's open to the Canelo body attack on the ropes. And I think Charlo's biggest strength in this fight is, again, just his lateral movement and his active feet. That's what's going to help him win this fight. That 1-2 combination. Just Charlo's a boxer puncher, in my opinion. I look at Charlo as a boxer puncher. I wouldn't really consider him a slick fighter. I wouldn't consider him a technical fighter. He's a boxer puncher. He does have the ability to punch, so I think that's something he needs to do against Canelo. And once he does punch Canelo, he needs to stick that jab out there and push Canelo off balance. When Canelo leans in looking for that counter, he needs to put that jab out there and push him with the jab. Not just stick him with it, but push him with the jab to keep him backing up and off balance. And I think that's the key to victory for him. If you all remember the Castaño, I'm sorry, not Castaño, but the Charlo and Rosario fight, man. He was doing that in that fight, just a lot of moving around because Rosario's a puncher as well. So Charlo just needs to use that footwork. So that's really all I got for y'all in this fight. Like I told you, it was going to be a short video. I actually meant that. So now it comes down to who I actually see winning this fight. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Canelo is in a position where he can make mistakes. Canelo can make mistakes. Charlo cannot make too many mistakes. You know, this is a new weight class for Charlo. He doesn't punch as hard as Canelo, and I'm not sure if he has the same punch resistance that Canelo has. I honestly don't think that he has the same punch resistance because we've seen Charlo hurt. We've seen Charlo hurt against Brian Castaño, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't say that Brian Castaño is one of the hardest punchers. He's just a volume puncher, but he was able to wobble Charlo. So just imagine what Canelo can do. So I honestly think that Charlo just can't make too many mistakes in this fight. But I think that Charlo has more tools in his toolbox that he can use. He's a smaller fighter. So with that being said, he does have the faster feet. He does have better athleticism than Canelo. He punches faster than Canelo. He has the lateral movement. He might be a little faster with his counters. You never know. But again, Canelo has good timing as well. So I really want to say it, and y'all going to be like, what the fuck is this man talking about? But this is looking like a 50-50 fight, in my opinion. It's really looking like a 50-50 fight. Again, because Canelo got that wear and tear. Canelo is flat-footed. Canelo is the harder puncher. Canelo probably has better timing. I'm not sure, but I think Canelo has better timing. Canelo has better head movement. Charlo has faster hands. Charlo has a better 1-2. Charlo has better feet movement. And Charlo can punch. You know what I mean? I don't know how it's going to look when he's punching on a natural 168-pounder. But Charlo can punch, and he's going to have that speed to do it. And sometimes, you know what they say, it's the punches that you don't see coming. So with that being said, man, call me biased all you want, but I have to lean towards Charlo winning this fight. I have to lean towards Charlo winning this fight. And I'm leaning towards him because he has the faster feet. Because Canelo is just flat-footed. Because Canelo is there to get hit with that double left hook. Again, I told you, they got some of the same strengths. So Charlo is good with that double left hook as well. If Canelo's not able to counter, which I believe he will be able to, but if he's not able to counter consistently, then I think that Charlo can win this fight on points. Now, I know that Charlo wants to make a statement. Charlo's looking to be the best. He's looking to knock out Canelo. I don't see him knocking out Canelo. If Bivol couldn't knock out Canelo, I don't see Charlo knocking out Canelo. But I do see Charlo winning on points. If Charlo knocks out Canelo, bro, I'm blown away, man. We looking at a pound-for-pound #1 fighter. But yeah, man, that's all I got for y'all. Canelo also has the ability to beat Charlo as well, so don't think that I'm not saying that he can't do that, man. He definitely has the counters. Canelo has a good tendency to cut off the ring. Oh yeah, that's definitely something I wanted to mention as well. Canelo can definitely cut off the ring, man. He's phenomenal at that, and I think that's how he got to Caleb Plant. Um, Caleb Plant just didn't have the power, but who knows? You know, Caleb Plant is 168. He might actually have more power than Charlo, but we won't be able to tell until we see Charlo at 168. But even though Caleb Plant had the faster feet, Canelo was able to cut off the ring and just break him down. I'm not sure if he'll be able to do that with Charlo, but who knows? Again, the same thing could happen. That's why I say it's a 50-50 fight. So Canelo just needs to put that pressure on. In order for Canelo to win this fight, he needs to keep that pressure on Charlo. He needs to stay in Charlo's face. If he slows down just even a little bit, you know, because we've seen how Canelo looked in his previous fights, his most recent fights. If he slows down even a little bit, it's just not going to look pretty for him, man. So, again, I told you I don't want this to be a long video, so I meant that. Charlo got that sneaky power, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to wrap it up for y'all. Peace. Much love. Thank y'all. If y'all like this video, please consider hitting that like button. Please leave a comment. Let me know what y'all think about this breakdown. Let me know who you all got winning. If you want to see more content like this, please hit that subscribe button. I truly appreciate you all. You know, just in my last few videos, you all know I'm new to this. You all have gotten me over 40,000 views. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So again, if you want to see this new content, this fresh face, fresh boxing opinion, please consider hitting that subscribe button, share the video, whatever. Peace, much love. Till next time. Black Code Boxing. We out.